Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Pokemon Duel Analysis. Today I want to talk about the probabilities of putting boosters in Pokemon Duel. I know this is actually a pretty simple math and a lot of people has the knowledge and probably has done some kind of calculation themselves, but I just want to create a tool that's more available to everyone and you can easily edit a couple of values to get the probability you want. I'll have the link to the spreadsheet in the description and you guys can get a copy and play around with it. I'll just do some explanation on how to use the tool, and the purpose of doing this video is one, to take a look at some of the numbers. Another purpose is that by trying to explain some of the numbers, hopefully everyone can have a good understanding of what they should expect when they do the pooling. So let's get started. Here I have the probabilities for putting a particular kind of figure. This is exactly the same as in the game. We'll take a look at 4 things related to these probabilities. So first is when you pull on booster tickets. And second is when you do the quad or 4 booster packs, or when you do 10 packs. And we'll also do some analysis on the plates. So for booster tickets, you can make changes to how many of the figures that you want out of the possible figures. So here I'm just calculating the probability of putting at least one EX or UX figure out of 20 booster tickets. 20 booster tickets I think is the reward for making top 1000 each month. So here we can see that the odds are in your favor, that you're likely to pull at least one EX figure out of 20 booster tickets. But if you're unlucky and couldn't get it, it's not that uncommon for you to miss on 20 booster tickets, because this probability means more than 1 out of 3 people will miss their EX or UX figure out of 20 booster pools. So if you got one, then congratulations, and if not, it's not too much of an upset. So this is when you do any EX. So let's make a change that if you only want one of the new figures, what's the probability? Then it's reduced to 30% in this case. So next up, let's look at the quad versus 10 pack. This is a classic debate that we always have, is if you want a particular figure, should you pull on the 10 pack or pull on the 4 packs? So I have set the number of UX and EX you want to be only wanting the new figures, and then you can see the probability here that out of a 10 pack, the probability of you getting a new figure is only 38.72%, which is not too high, which means that only 2 out of 5 people will get a new figure out of one 10 pack. And one quad actually only have 13.43%, which is really low. This number couldn't really compare because 10 pack, obviously you're putting 10 boosters instead of 4. So to make it more compatible, we can do 2 10 packs versus 5 4 booster packs. So basically both of them are putting 20 boosters, and you can still see the difference. For this particular banner, it's pretty clear that if you want particular EX or UX, you should pull on the 10 pack. So that's how you can use this spreadsheet. And there's also some information you can see here. So on one 10 pack, you can see that getting one new figure is about 1/3, and then getting 2 new figures is only 5.8%. So it's really low number. I think the figure availability is one of the biggest issue in the game that the developer probably need to address down the road, but that's what it is right now. And so you should set your expectations straight when you are trying to pull on a 10 pack. Just for reference, we can also do what's the probability of putting a particular new UX out of a 10 pack. you can see that for UX, the probability is only 6.85%. And for EX, you can do it's only 11.77%, which is still pretty low. But at least you got some idea of what to expect. And one other thing that lots of people might also look at is whether they can get a certain plate, because all the sphere plates are only available from putting on the 10 pack or the quad. Putting on 10 pack, you'll get 4 plates. Usually the sphere plates are R plate, so the probability of getting a particular R plate when you put on a 10 pack is only 18.55%, which is lower than 1 in 5. So only 1 in 5% will get a particular sphere plate out of a 10 pack. Some people will be interested in like X speed, which is a UC plate. In that case, your probability of getting one is about 1 in 4. That's all about this recommended booster. Another thing we can take a look at is special booster 10 pack that came out yesterday on the Mega Evolution. The calculation is still pretty much the same, and you can take a look at what's the probability here. As for myself, from the UX figures, I'm interested in Mega Handun, Mega Sableye, and Mega Caesara. From EX, I'm interested in Handun, Zorark, Laurentis. So basically, I only have 3 UX I want and 3 EX I want, which gives me a probability of 40.77% of putting at least one of them, which isn't really good, or odds are not in my favor, but I will just pull anyway because I think I have extra gem for this month, so I'll just pull one. Wish me luck. So as you saw, it didn't go very well for me. I didn't get to the UX or EX that I wanted, and it's pretty much a disaster except for the last Mega Tyranitar, which I already have. But that's just the luck, and this basically is in line with this probability. So I'm not too upset, but hopefully you guys can get a better pool than me. One other thing I want to talk about in this video is which deal you should buy if you are looking to spend some money in the game. I just want to give some guidance on this if you're looking to do this. And if you are completely free to play player, I think that's fine too. So I'm not trying to convince anyone to spend money. I'm just trying to give my analysis on which one is the better deal. So currently the main deal Pokemon Duel have every month is this beginning of month deal, which is called up to 100% more gems. And then there's also the mid-month deal, which is usually called 80% off gem sale. As you can see here, there's a huge gap between the gem per dollar spent of the two deals. And everyone could see that the mid-month deal is much better deal than the beginning of the month deal. And one thing I also want to point out is that the points, which is for the monthly loyalty, you'll get 120 points per dollar spent. This is the same across all deals. There are some small differences here and there, but mostly it's just rounding error. And you can always think of it as every $1 you spend, you'll get 120 points. So as we can see that the mid-month deal is so much better than the beginning of the month deal. If you're looking to spend a little bit of money, then this probably is what you want to buy. One other thing I do want to take a look at is the figure deal, which they're kind of pushing right now. And yesterday they have released the shiny Greninja pack, and also some others that's from leveling up in the leagues. So for those deals, to me, is that if you want the figure, you should go for it. The reason is pretty obvious. As you can see from my previous analysis on what's the probability of putting a particular EX or UX figure, it's actually pretty low even if you do the 10 pack. If the figure of this deal is something you want anyways, then you should strongly consider buying this deal. Here is the price and then the gem you will get from this pack. The reason I give the estimated value of a figure to be 750 is pretty simple. For me, this is all subjective, so if you guys don't agree, if you value it higher or lower, it's all up to you, right? There's no right or wrong answer, but I'm just giving my reasoning is that if you pull on a 10 pack and get a particular EX figure that you want, you're generally pretty happy regardless what happens to the other 9 figures. So that's just me. And if someone asks me if I pull on 2 10 packs and I will guarantee to get a particular EX figure, then I will consider it. I don't think that's like too good of a deal. So I kind of take the middle ground to say each particular EX figure is worth 750. And I thought this is a good estimate to myself at least. But if you guys have a different opinion how you value it, then that's fine as well. You can make changes to this. Maybe you think it's only 500, then obviously the value for the gem per dollar will decrease. So you can see that if you have the same value as me, then figure deal is really good, which is close to or better than the mid-month deal, which I would recommend you buying if you just want to spend a little bit of money in the game. So especially I just want to point out that in the others there's Laurentus is on sale there. So if you didn't happen to pull one from the Mega Evolution pack, then you might want to consider if you want to build a grass deck. Another thing I do want to mention is that there's a deal on enhancement booster set. What this does is that every month you can buy one of them for $4.99, and you'll get 100 gems, and then you have this enhancement booster unlocked, and you can unlock it every 24 hours. During the team event, it will be reduced to 1/2 of the time. So obviously you got the 100 gems from this set, and then I estimated the value of the enhancement booster. My intuition is that I actually have been buying this set for several months now, and what I noticed is that about every second month I will get a EX cube from this pack, and about every 3 months I will get a UX cube from this pack. As you will see later, I actually value a EX cube at about 100 gems, and I value a UX cube at about 150. So to take the expected value, you will get 50 plus 50 on those cubes, or the chance of the cube, and then you will also get a bunch of Carmonite, and for Carmonite I value it about 0.5 gem per Carmonite. So this means that if there's a deal saying I can buy 100 Carmonite with 50 gem, I'll consider the deal. And 150 is actually a low estimate of how many Carmonite you will get, because the pack contains at least 3. Sometimes if you're lucky you can get 50 at once. The total value I estimate the enhancement booster is 175. So this combined with the 100 gem gives this this pack value of 55.11 gem per dollar, which is better than the beginning of the month deal. I actually would recommend this if you think you might be lacking in the Carbonite. But if you don't value the Carbonite too much, then maybe this isn't for you. And lastly, I also want to talk about the monthly loyalty rewards. This is really hard to evaluate because number of Carbonite you get is gonna change based on when you spend the money. But here I think it's still pretty good estimate of what to expect. So as you can see, here is the royalty point level, and then as I said, basically each dollar will give you 120 points. So here is the dollar you need to reach a certain level. This is basically a lower bound because sometimes you have to combine the deals to get to a certain point, which probably won't be always available. For some of the levels, you'll probably need to spend a little bit more than this, but this is just the estimate. And then I also counted the total number of EX cube you can get from reaching a certain level, the number of UX cube you can get from a certain level, and then the royalty rewards. As I said, I value EX cube about 100 gem per, and I value UX cube as 150 gem per, and for the exclusive royalty, I gave it 75 per, which I think maybe a little bit low, but I'll just leave it as that. And you can have different numbers for it, and this is totally subjective. As I am stressing, you can say you don't think exclusive royalty ticket is worth that much, or you think it's like 100 gem or something. It's all reasonable. It's all about how you value things. So given this, let's ignore this Carbonite per day for now. What you will get in terms of estimated gem value is right here, and you can see the estimated gem per dollar. This is basically all based on how I value things, and if you change something to, then all the number will change. But anyways, for my estimation, I think it's pretty much flat. That the higher you go in monthly royalty, it doesn't give you too much more per dollar you spend. So for Carbonite, one Carbonite I value it as 0.5 gem. The calculation for the value for from Carbonite is based on 30 days, so you may not get that much. So it's really hard for me to really recommend anything based on this. But I thought it's interesting to have a look and consider it if you're trying to reach a certain level. I think this is just for your information. So that's about it for the content for today. Before I go, I just want to quickly give you my opinion on the new Mega Rule. The new Mega Rule, I think overall is a pretty good change. However, there are some consequences. So basically, the more mega figure you can fit into a deck will give you more power, and this is kind of problematic because it basically requires people to have more figures to build their deck. Also, to chain level those UX figure are gonna be really difficult. There's no steady source of UX cube anywhere in the game right now, which I think the developer need to address. Otherwise, only the whale who spend more than $90 will get one UX cube every month, or you can get lucky, but it's just not a way for people to chain level those. So that's gonna be a problem. And then Carbonite needed to level those mega is also quite substantial. So I think the game need to address those issues by giving out more resources for people to play with their figure. That's all from me today. Hope you enjoyed the content, and hope to see you next time.